let me say this, when you are the president of a union serving on the executive board of the state AFL-CIO, you have two responsibilities. The first is to represent your interests to the rest of the labor movement in this state, to speak to the issues that affect your union and your members. And from the very first meeting that Melinda attended, you know, a lot of times you're a new board member, you walk into that room, you have some of the more powerful labor leaders and labor unions in the country sitting there. There's a sort of an acclamation process. That was not the case with Melinda. From the very first, no, it's an amazing thing to see. From the very first meeting, she got in there, she spoke to the issues that affect each and every one of you, and she got everyone in that room to support you through the state AFL-CIO to put forth the issues and initiatives that are important to you. That is very impressive. I've been president for 12 years. I've been at every board meeting for the last 32 years, and I've never seen anything like it. So you need to know how impressive that is and how she does and the job she does to support each and every one of you. A little more than a year ago, right before she came into office, we sat down and we talked, and Melinda said we should have a women's committee at the state AFL-CIO. My response was, yes, that's great. We probably should have done it a long time ago. I said, would you talk about it at the next board meeting, which was her first meeting, by the way. So we go to the meeting, Melinda speaks to it, providing pathways for women to have leadership positions in unions across this state and talk about issues that affect women in the workplace. And she had the complete attention and respect of everybody in that room. When the meeting ended, I asked Melinda at the next meeting if she would submit a resolution to the entire board so we could formally adopt it. At our December meeting, Melinda presented the resolution, spoke to it with passion, and now that committee has been created, and the first meeting took place on April 11th, which Melinda co-chairs, by the way, because she doesn't have enough to do here at NYSET. So Melinda, I want to say thank you on behalf of the entire labor movement in this state for a truly groundbreaking initiative. I want to just say thank you. If you take nothing else out of what I say in the next few minutes, just thank you. I want to thank you for the tone and the standard you set for the rest of the labor movement in this state. And it's not because you're the largest affiliate. It's not because you're the largest union. It is because you set a standard and a tone for the rest of the labor movement. Your victories make the entire labor movement stronger. Even if other unions may not want to admit it, you set that example, you set the strategy, and you achieve your goal. So in this job, I get to see your impact legislatively, politically, and otherwise, and just being a student, like everyone else, I could see the impact that you have on your students every single day. One of my favorite teachers was Mrs. McGough. Mrs. McGough was my 12th grade English teacher. She allowed me to realize something, that in that classroom, we are a team. We were a team. The teacher is the captain of the team, no doubt. Teacher has a responsibility to teach those children to his or her to the best of their ability. The students in that classroom have a responsibility to allow the teacher to do that, to teach, to try to learn. But also, the other students have a responsibility to each other, which never occurred to me, not to distract them, to allow them to get the lesson and to do the best they can in that class. I take that and I recognize that the lesson of all of us in that classroom, that triangle, everything has to work for that lesson that day to be successful. Everything has to go on with a trust amongst each other, everyone pulling or pushing in the same direction to get to that goal, which is coming out of that classroom with a little bit more knowledge than you had the day before. I take what I do now, and I recognize there was a greater lesson that day from Mrs. McGough. She didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I didn't know what I was going to do 35 years later. But everything we do in this movement is about everybody trying to work off of the same page and work out of the same playbook and coordinating what we do. Everybody, 2.5 million strong, working together, pulling or pushing in the same direction. That is the lesson that I got. Maybe I didn't understand it at first, but I take it back and I look at it now and I say, yeah, all of us working together, we have to trust one another. I wish that I could, I don't know where Mrs. McGough is. I don't know. It's been 35 years. I'd like to thank her myself. My point here is, I hope each and every one of you here thank you from every one of your students, because God knows you deserve everything and all of their thanks for what you do and the lessons that your students take with you for their entire lives, like I have. So thank you for that. And And thank you for what you do for the labor movement in the state. There is no one who would dispute that we are the strongest and the most successful labor movement in the state. No one would dispute that. But it's because of each and every one of you. I thank you for what you do in your classrooms every single day. I heartily thank you for what you do for the labor movement in this state. So thank you, everyone. Be well, be safe, and always keep New York State Union strong. Thank you very much.